group will coordinate with the management, then vehicle engineering, and then this engine. Then we have seen the total flow of the drawing. That means how the drawings and prototype they get actually manufactured and then ready to dispatch. And then I have given you the example that if suppose there is a change in the exhaust system, and that is to be conveyed by the research and development department of the company. So how it can be implemented in the system. Also, we have seen that the SAP software is also used for, you can say, help in the manufacturing of the vehicle. Now my question is, please understand this question carefully, that suppose there is some field complaint. Suppose there is some field complaint. So what should be the logical flow of the field complaint, whether it has to be handled by R&D people, whether it has to be handled at the dealer end. So what is your opinion? Sir, please speak out. Say, I am waiting for your answer. Please speak. All of you are sleeping or what?
Sir, specifically for automobile, there are service centers for their respective companies.
Yeah, Pranjwal, but suppose I am saying that suppose you purchased a vehicle and if there is some fault. So first thing what you are going to do, you are going to approach the dealer. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Suppose now dealer is not able to solve your complaint, then how to proceed? Will you refer that problem to the company?
Yes, sir. We will contact to the company then.
No, actually, that is not the process. Please try to understand that every dealer has got one service engineer which is attached to him. And that service engineer, if he is not able to solve the problem, he will route the complaint to the company, wherein you have got one group which is called as the field complaint group, or you can say field complaints करके एक group होता है. Then that complaint is referred to the field complaint group in the company. That will take the data. It will try to find out that the manufacturing of the vehicle, in which month was there any issue related to the manufacturing of particular vehicle in that particular you can say month or that particular day. And after that, if they are not able to resolve that complaint, then it is referred to these R&D departments, wherein there is one group which is formed out of these people, out of these groups. So every engineer who is concerned with this, they form the team, and then they find out whether really it is the problem related to design, or it is related to testing, or it is related to manufacturing. So such kind of thing happens. In most of the cases, suppose the complaint is from a VIP, then it has to be attended with the topmost priority, and that is usually followed in the industry. So have you understood? Basically, you don't involve the what my purpose of telling you is, you don't involve the R&D people into the field complaint, because if you keep on dragging them in the field complaint, they will not able to concentrate on the new product. Okay, so once they hand over the drawing to vehicle engineering group, their responsibility gets over. In case of some difficulty at some high level problem, then and then only you can drag people from this. Now please understand that if you get into the R&D, you get very good opportunity to get exposed to the new technology, your new ideas, and you are in a better position to understand that in which direction the industry is moving and what kind of skills you need to acquire in order to build your career. That is why I'm pressing this particular point. If you are in any other department of the company, then you will be also involved in the day-to-day routine problems of the industry as well. So please be careful that whenever you give the choice, you give the first choice to the R&D, because you get the exposure, you get to know where the industry is moving. Otherwise, it becomes very, very difficult to get such kind of you can say vision, because if you are in manufacturing, your area is very restricted. If you are in product engineering, there also your area is very, very restricted. You only interact with the manufacturing and vehicle engineering group, so you are not involved in the new ideas and the new you can say the vision of the company. So I'm not saying that these departments are bad. I'm saying that if you get the opportunity to work in the R&D, give the first choice to this. Okay. So is this clear? Anybody is having any difficulty, any question he wants to ask, he or she wants to ask? Please go ahead. Okay, so now we will start with the presentation, wherein now the first part is over, that is how the vehicle is designed and how the vehicle is launched. So now I will start with the presentation. So in the presentation, here you can say that classification of vehicle. So how the vehicles are classified. The previous part we have seen the general terms which are used in vehicle, then the history of the automobile, that part we have covered. Now we will cover briefly the types of vehicles so that your idea will be clear. So understand that there are three types of vehicles: single unit vehicles or load carriers, articulated vehicles, and heavy tractor vehicles. So please do not bother much about this classification. I am going to share the PowerPoint presentation, but certain points I would like to tell you why we are studying this and other things at the appropriate time. So now as we all know that automobiles can be classified as the passenger vehicle and goods vehicle. There is another category of the vehicle, you can say that off-road vehicle, so that is not included here. So our area is basically we wanted to concentrate on the passenger vehicle. Why not on goods carrying vehicle? That answer also I will give you, don't worry. Then the passenger vehicles, you have got the light vehicles and the heavy vehicles. In passenger vehicles also you have got light vehicles, means cars, and heavy vehicles is nowadays there is a craze of having sports vehicle, utility vehicle, and other thing. So that is or SUVs. Okay, so that comes under this heavy vehicle. But as per as per the norms of the emission testing for the vehicle, the category also changes. So that I will tell you. Okay. So now goods vehicle, you have got light vehicles and heavy vehicles. Heavy vehicles, basically trucks, they come in the heavy vehicle. Now the single unit vehicles or load vehicles are conventional four-wheel type with two axle design, in which the front axle is steering, non-driving axle, and rear axle is driving wheel. Articulated vehicles are three-wheeler vehicles with single steering wheel in the front and conventional rear driving axle. And heavy tractor vehicles to move heavy loads. Heavy load tractor or independent tractor vehicles are used. They commonly operate in pair, either in tandem or puller and pusher. That I will tell you. Then figures like 4x2, 4x4, 6x4 are commonly used in classification of vehicle, where the first figure represents total number of wheels. So total number of wheels, and the second figure the driving wheels. Okay, so basically the driving axle, which you call as the live axle. Live axles are those to which the power is supplied from the engine. Okay, so when you move to the tractor, trailer, tipper, then this kind of thing, this kind of vehicles, they are called as the heavy tractor vehicle. Now they come to passenger vehicles. Now light vehicles and heavy vehicles. Light vehicles, station wagon, pickups, cars, jeeps, motorcycles, scooters, three-wheelers. So they are the light vehicles. The heavy vehicles is passenger heavy vehicles. They are buses, you can say. Then like the vehicles or mini buses, they come under the heavy vehicles. So sometimes SUV also they come nowadays there are more capacity, 8+1 and so on. So that also can get classified into heavy vehicles. Basically, why they are called as heavy vehicle and light vehicle, let me tell you that according to the norms for the testing of the emissions, if the vehicle gross weight, that means including passenger, including goods, if it is exceeding 3.5 ton, then such kind of vehicles, they are termed as the heavy vehicles, whereas light vehicles are the car and other things whose weight is less than 3.5 tons. Why this classification is done? Basically, when you test the vehicle for emissions, then you need to choose that which method has to be followed, whether it has to be tested on the chassis dynamometer or whether it has to be tested on the engine. Only engine of the vehicle should be tested on the engine test bed. So that is why you have got the light vehicle and the heavy vehicles. So otherwise, there is the clear-cut definition, which I told you, is this: if the gross vehicle weight is more than 3.5 tons, then it is termed as the heavy vehicles. Now, in passenger vehicles, you have light vehicles, heavy vehicle, buses, coaches, single deck, double deck, dealers, air conditioner, mini buses, big buses. So this is the classification of the heavy vehicles. So is this clear, all of you? Now, goods vehicles. So what are the goods vehicle? Basically, goods vehicle are the light vehicles and heavy vehicles. Again, if you classify delivery vans, light truck, tempo, they are considered as the light vehicle. Whereas heavy vehicles, you know that, so tempo is 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler tempo, they also come under the light vehicle. Now the next slide will explain you goods vehicle, the light vehicles and heavy vehicles, and classification of heavy vehicles: truck, tractor, trailer. Okay, so this is total fleet of the vehicles. That means from the passenger 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler to basically a 4-wheeler to heavy duty, you can say vehicles. Okay, so heavy vehicles. Now classification by body style. Okay, so most of the time we say that what kind of body is there. One is basically you have got the chassis on which you mount all the vehicle aggregates. So we will see this. The other one is you have got the body and you mount all the aggregates. One is hatchback, then sedan, or not hatchback, then the estate or station wagon, then it is the multi-purpose vehicle, which is called as the MUV. So whatever you say, Tata Sumo and the Mahindra Armada, Bolero, they are sometimes referred as MUVs as well. Then you have got sports utility vehicle. As I told you, it is only exclusively for carrying the passengers. The aerodynamics is different. Then pickup truck. Those who have gone to US, they can understand what is this pickup truck. In India, we call it as the single cab, double cab. But in US, you will find that most of the college going students, they go for pickup trucks rather than going to buy sports utility vehicle or multi-purpose utility vehicle. In India, this trend has not come up till now, but will follow soon. Okay, basically you have got the cab for the driver, and there is a space at the back of the, you can say, driver compartment, wherein you can store your cold drinks. Then you can put your cycle and mountaineering things and whatever you want, you can put it there. So that is basically the use which most of the youngsters, they do it in US, whereas in India we have not come to that level. So this is basically the pickup truck. You can have the single cab and double cab as well. Single cab means only driver and co-driver. In double cab, you can have driver, co-driver, and back seat for carrying two passengers. So that is double cab. Mahindra and Tata Motors, or I can say SML Isuzu, they also manufacture this kind of vehicle. So you will see that there are some vehicles, Isuzu vehicles, which are on the road, wherein they they have got this kind of production line for single cab and double cab truck. Now this is the van. Everyone is familiar with the van, Maruti van, now Ertiga and other things. They come in the category of the van. Now, motor car, everyone knows that saloon or sedan, then Indigo, Manza, Swift Desire. Then the description is given, carries passenger in sitting position and also accommodates their luggage. Light motor vehicles designed to carry passengers and sometimes goods are broadly classified as. Sometimes good means not the for commercial purpose. It is when you are going to railway station, you carry some goods, or when you are going for picnic, you carry some goods. So that is basically the idea. One or two door are provided on each side of the car, but if the car is a hatchback, a door replaces the luggage space. Example, Nano, Indica, Jazz, Punto. So these are the vehicles which fall in the category of motor car. Then there are certain classifications which are given: coupe, convertible, estate car, or station wagon. So these are the cars which are most of the time referred to as. Most of the people, even including myself, we have confusion as to what you call it as a coupe, then sedan, then convertible. So these are the terms which are used, and I have given the description as well. The coupe is the outcome of changes in saloon car design and has two doors, two front seats, and a hard roof. When two additional small seats are provided at the rear, the layout is known as 2 plus 2. Okay, that means if you have a family of four people, husband, wife, and two kids, then it is referred to as this car is used for that purpose, which is referred to as a coupe. Then convertible, that means you can have the cover or canopy which is foldable, so that is a convertible. Then station wagon. So these are the classifications of the car. Then pickup vans. This is what I was referring to. This type of vehicle is generally classified as a two-door front sitting van and open back. This is open back. Okay, and to carry the mixed collection of goods, Xenon, Scorpio, Gateway. So these are some of the cars. Even you can add SML, Isuzu also. They have also got this kind of thing. Now vans, everyone is aware. We are much aware about the Maruti van, which is nowadays used as the ambulance car and carrying children to the schools. But there are certain other vans which are manufactured by Mercedes Benz, then General Motors. So they also have the range of the car. Now here it is shown as A, B, C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. So these are basically the terminologies which are used. You will shortly come to know that what is A, what is B, and what is C. Okay. So these are the figures and that what types of pickup cars and vans are there. So sir, this presentation will give you the complete idea. Then coaches, all of you are aware about the coaches. So these are called as the coaches. The luxury buses, they are the coaches basically. Now lorries and trucks, this you only see as the chassis, and this is how the classification is done. I have shown one picture. Whenever you travel on a highway, you will find that these kinds of chassis, they are lined up on the highway and they get transported from one location to other location. Can anyone tell me the reason why you can see so many chassis on the road? Sir, can you please answer this? अरे भाई सो गए क्या? कुछ तो बोलो.
Sir,
आपने
according
देखा
to
क्या
different,
हाईवे पे?
sir, different load needs different type of arrangement of the wheels.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, दैट इज करेक्ट. मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि जब आप हाईवे पे ट्रैवल करते हो तो आपको ऐसे आधे कटे हुए फ्रंट वाला एक कोच मिलेगा जिसमें एक ड्राइवर बैठा रहता है, कुछ मुंह को बांधा हुआ रहता है कपड़ा, देन वो पूरे चेहरे पे कपड़ा बांधा हुआ रहता है, गॉगल पहना हुआ रहता है, और लाइन से एक आपको थोड़े थोड़े इंटरवल से आपको 5-10 ये कोचेस मिलेंगे, सॉरी ये चेसिस मिलेंगे. तो इट इज फॉर व्हाट, उस पे आगे के इस पे लिखा रहेगा, फ्रंट इस पे लिखा रहेगा अशोक लेलैंड, टाटा. सो कैन यू टेल मी व्हाई दे ट्रैवल लाइक दैट? एनी आइडिया?
They are testing the efficiency of the truck.
Okay. Okay. Any other answer, sir? Any other guess? बाकी लोगों से भी मैं एक्सपेक्ट करता हूं सर, कुछ तो बात कीजिए. There is nothing like right or wrong, but what is your guess? सपोज एज अ मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर किसी लेमैन में या स्कूल गोइंग बच्चे ने अगर आपको पूछ लिया है तो आप उसको क्या आंसर दोगे? सर ये ट्रक्स कहाँ मैन्युफैक्चर होते हैं सर टाटा की? डू यू नो द लोकेशन टू असेंबल रेस्ट ऑफ द बॉडी एट फैक्ट्री एट रिमोट प्लेस? ओके, गुड आंसर. सर ये कहाँ मैन्युफैक्चर होते? सर टाटा के ट्रक्स कहाँ मैन्युफैक्चर होते हैं?
जमशेदपुर सर.
ओके, एनी अदर लोकेशन? पुणे? अरे यू आर मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर यार, एटलीस्ट यू शुड नो दिस. वेयर अशोक लीलैंड ट्रक्स आर मैन्युफैक्चर्ड? Sir, please don't do that, sir. Keep some information. Ashok Leyland, yes, Rajasthan, Alwar में होता है manufacture. See, Ashok Leyland, they have got the plant at Hosur, at Chennai, at Bhandara, very nearby to Nasik, very nearby to Nagpur. But in Bhandara, I don't think that they assemble the complete chassis, whereas they manufacture the gearbox. But nowadays I have heard that they have also started the manufacturing of the chassis, and then Alwar in Rajasthan. So good answer. See, please understand that suppose you manufacture the trucks in the company, let us say Tata Motor, just take an example, or for that matter Ashok Leyland. So Ashok Leyland is manufacturing at Hosur, it is near Bangalore. Now if some customer at Nagpur wants to purchase the chassis, then how it can be transported? You cannot put truck on truck and transport it because it is very heavy and it is very, very risky. So what they do, they basically dispatch that particular truck by road. That means they hire a driver, they hire a number of drivers, they collect the orders. That suppose Vidarbha region they give they give order of 5 trucks. Then those 5 trucks simultaneously they will the driver will start from the Hosur plant and will directly come to dealer. Okay, because transportation of trucks is difficult because they are very, very heavy, and at the dealer's end then they have the contact with the bodybuilders. So then bodybuilders they will convert that either into bus or either into a goods carrying vehicle. So depends on what is the requirement. So the common answer is it is not for testing, but it is for transportation, because that testing and everything is already over. Then and then only you are able to drive the truck on the road. Okay, now see, you cannot have the trucks manufactured everywhere in India. So I have given you the example. किसी ने अगर टाटा मोटर के 4 ट्रक नागपुर में खरीदे हैं तो वो पूना जाके थोड़ी लेके आएगा ट्रक, उसको तो डिलीवरी नागपुर में चाहिए. सो व्हाट ही डज, वो डीलर क्या करता है कि कंपनी में ऑर्डर देके द कंपनी विल हैव द ड्राइवर्स, दे पुट द ड्राइवर्स एंड द ड्राइवर्स दे ड्राइव, और यहाँ आके फिर उसको बेचते हैं. सो दैट इज व्हाई you will find that there are so many trucks which are there on highway. Even this kind of trick is also done for the cars. Suppose somebody books a car which is, let us say, those of you they are familiar with Maharashtra, they know the Amravati. Now Amravati they have the dealer, but if the stock is not available at the Amravati, what Amravati dealer will do, Amravati dealer will call the Nagpur dealer and he will tell the Nagpur dealer that this kind of car is required, and on the temporary passing that car will be driven, okay, by road, or that car will arrive at Amravati by road and it will be delivered to the customer. So such kind of things they keep on happening because the cost of the vehicle is very high and it is very, very difficult for the dealer to invest that much money. Okay, so please keep this thing in mind. So that is why they say that nowadays most of the people they say that you will have to wait. You won't get immediate delivery. For example, Maruti and other thing also, they have other manufacturers, they also started, because they cannot have a continuous manufacturing and can keep that. It is not just like a mobile. So आपको जो है वो डीलर अगर उसके पास रेडीली अवेलेबल नहीं है, उसके पास एडिशनल 1 or 2 व्हीकल अवेलेबल रहते हैं, उससे ज्यादा नहीं रहते हैं. Okay, so that is how it can be done. So you will find that most of the time the vehicles with a temporary passing and one driver is sitting, understand that that vehicle is picked up from one dealer and it is going to given to the other dealer. Okay, now articulated tractor and semi trailer, so you can read this if you are interested in this. Now there are this, sorry, such kind of trucks, they are used in US nowadays. They are also used in India. It is manufactured by Volvo, and the best you can say the good thing about these kinds of trucks is they have got load cells fitted at the axles, and the display of the weight, how much amount of weight is actually coming on the axle, that is displayed on the driver's you can say dashboard, so that you can evenly distribute the weight. Okay, and accordingly you put the number of axles. Most of the time you will find that, see, this particular body number 9 is detachable from body number 1. Okay, so this body number 2, basically this body number 2, let me highlight you people. So see, this is the body number 2, which you can detach. This complete thing you can detach from body number 1. Okay, so that you have got the flexibility, and this platform you can build and you can increase or decrease the number of the axles. Okay, so that is why they are called as trailers. But the major difficulty with this, can anybody point out any difficulty with this particular kind of arrangement, please? Sir, what can be the difficulty with these trailers? सर थोड़ा सा सोचिए सर, अगर आपका ऑब्जर्वेशन पावर अच्छा है,
Sir, for taking turns.
Yeah, that is correct. But that is not the biggest difficulty. The next one is turn in reverse gear. That is basically the problem with these kinds of vehicles. So reverse is very difficult for such kind of trailers. Okay, so जब भी, यानी याद रखना, रोड पे अगर आपको ट्रेलर दिख रहा है, वो अगर वो रिवर्स ले रहा है, तो प्लीज डोंट स्टे इन द नियर बाय विसिनिटी ऑफ दैट ट्रेलर. कुछ भी हो सकता है, because the driver won't get any judgment sitting and in the cabin and looking at the rear end. ठीक है, तो ये थोड़ा सा केयरफुल रहना. नाउ माउंटिंग ऑफ इंजन इन व्हीकल. सो अभी इंजन को कैसे माउंट करेंगे, तो फ्रंट इंजन फ्रंट व्हील ड्राइव, फ्रंट इंजन रियर व्हील ड्राइव, रियर इंजन रियर व्हील ड्राइव, मिड इंजन रियर व्हील ड्राइव. तो ये देखते हैं कि कैसे कैसे कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है. Do you feel that there is any effect as far as the mounting of the engine is concerned on the vehicle you can say drivability? What is your opinion? कि आपने फ्रंट इंजन पे माउंट किया तो क्या होगा, रियर पे माउंट किया तो क्या होगा, या फिर मिडल में माउंट किया इंजन तो क्या होगा. सो क्या सर आप सोच सकते हो क्या, बिकॉज इफ यू वर्क इन दी automobile company, then you have to know all these aspects. Yeah, technically we as a mechanical engineer, please understand that this is totally applied subject. This is nothing like theory which you can do away with that, even if you don't work in the automobile industry. But you should have the idea, because when you go to buy the vehicle, then you will be well informed as to technically, so nobody can fool you. I will give you so many examples where most of the dealers or most of the non-technical staff, they fool you by telling the technical things. Okay, I will tell you, you will enjoy. तो सर बताइए कि as a technical person, do you feel that front engine mounting balancing would affect? Okay, what next? Weight distribution, difficulty in steering due to weight in the front side. Very good. You are on the correct line of thinking. CG will be different in all conditions. In all conditions, yeah, perfectly right. CG will be different. So how does this CG matter? Heat in driver's cabin. If you put the engine in the you can say mid-engine way, though, if you mount at the center, heat in the driver cabin will increase. AC will not be that effective. There will be discomfort in the to the driver. So driver will get fatigue. So let us try to find out that what are these configurations. Typical engine configurations are the first one, front engine front wheel drive. This is for most of the car, front engine for front wheel drive. So what it says, read this. Front engine front wheel drive can help with the drivability of the vehicle. The engine weight over the driven wheels gives greater traction. I have written it in red. So you get greater traction. This can be particularly useful in adverse weather condition. Okay. So this is the advantage of the front engine front wheel drive. Okay. Now we'll go for another configuration, front engine rear wheel drive. That means you have the rear wheel drive. See, what is this part, by the way? Do you have any idea? The one which I have circled, differential. Very good. And what about this particular thing? In the square. Okay, clutch. Any other answer? Propeller shaft? No, sir. This is basically the clutch housing assembly along with the gearbox. Okay, so this is clutch housing assembly along with the gearbox, and this is your propeller shaft. This is which I am writing P. That is the propeller shaft. This is the engine. Okay, and this is a rear axle. This one is the rear axle. This the one which is right mark. That is rear axle. This is steering. All of you know. Okay. So what it says, that front engine rear wheel drive. What it says, front engine rear wheel drive configuration has the advantage of better weight distribution. It says that the weight distribution is better. However, some traction can be lost because the bulk of the weight is not over the driving wheels. यानी ये जो bulk of weight है, ये traction इसमें ज़्यादा मिलता था ये configuration में, whereas ये configuration में अभी आप जो drive axle जो है वो जो है ये rear वाला है. So that is why you won't have the proper normal reaction, so you lose some traction. Okay, frictional force कम हो जाएगा तो थोड़ा सा traction इसमें कम हो जाएगा. However, some traction can be lost due to bulk weight is not on the driving wheels. You will find that this is basically, this configuration is used in car and this configuration is used in SUV and MUV. Okay, जैसे आप टाटा की कोई गाड़ी देखिएगा कि जैसे टाटा सुमो देखो या हैरियर देखो या फिर महिंद्रा की देखो, बोलेरो देखो, स्कॉर्पियो देखो, तो all these vehicles will have this kind of thing. Wherever you will see the chassis, there you will find that the engine is mounted at the front and rear wheel they are the drive wheel. And when you provide power to the front wheels as well, then that becomes a four-wheel drive. Okay. We are discussing this to know that what are the basics of the automobile, and then we will discuss the systems one by one. So now typical engine configuration, rear engine rear wheel drive. अभी ये थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है. ये किसमें है सर, रियर इंजन रियर व्हील ड्राइव? आपने कोई व्हीकल देखी है जिसमें ये है? नैनो. यस, दैट मीन्स यू आर वेल अवेयर. गुड. रियर इंजन रियर व्हील ड्राइव. सर इसका डिसएडवांटेज क्या है? अगर इंजन बैक में है तो पेट्रोल टैंक कहाँ रहेगा सर? पेट्रोल टैंक कहाँ रखना पड़ेगा? इंजन से दूर रखना पड़ेगा ना? यस और नो? इंजन के पास रखेंगे क्या सर पेट्रोल टैंक? फ्रंट में. ओके, गुड. So rear engine rear wheel drive provides a larger load to the rear driving wheels. However, it can become tail heavy, which affect handling of the vehicle. It also reduces luggage space, which is now in front, as the passenger seats need to be removed from forward in order to accommodate the engine. यानी पैसेंजर सीट रियर से निकालना पड़ेगा और आपको आगे लगाना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो आप पैसेंजर को गर्म कर दोगे, उसका दिमाग गर्म हो जाएगा। ठीक है, तो ये एक प्रॉब्लम है, इसके साथ नैनो में यूज होता है ये। और ये मिड इंजन रियर व्हील drive engine provides good vehicle handling and good traction at the rear wheels. They are normally found on two-seat sports car where these factors are important. Okay, so this is how the vehicle configuration is. Okay, सर समझ में आया? सर मुझे बताइए, मोस्ट ऑफ द वैन्स में भी ये यूज होता है, जैसे एक महिंद्रा का L500 करके वैन था, उसमें इंजन को ऑलमोस्ट ड्राइवर के पीछे बैक साइड में माउंट किया था, बट द प्रॉब्लम विद दैट L500 व्हीकल वाज कि आपको एसी का कैपेसिटी जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा करनी पड़ी थी। आई वाज इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द एसी डिजाइन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर M500 व्हीकल, which is basically the which was the van by Alvin Nissan, and that was taken over by Mahindra Alvin Nissan plant, and they wanted to relaunch that vehicle, M500 vehicle, but because of the size and fuel economy and the weight, so that hardly very few models were sold in the market. I am telling you this story 10 years back, not now. Okay, so most of you may not be aware of it, but that was the van M500. The size was very good. It was brought in market to give competition to Maruti van, but unfortunately it couldn't do the intended work. So this is basically the typical engine configuration as far as the vehicle mounting of the engine is concerned. Now, vehicle subsystems. What are the vehicle subsystems? These systems, they are important to know, because once you know these vehicle subsystems, then we can discuss these subsystems in detail. Okay, the first one is the fuel system. So as I told you that this sketch or this photo shows you the complete location, the fuel injectors, then fuel filters. Fuel filter should be below this. ये जो है सर, ये है, ये fuel filter है, वो arrow जरा shifting में गलत जगह shift हुआ है. So this is the fuel filter. Then this goes to the fuel tank, and this is the fuel inlet. That means अगर पेट्रोल पंप में आपको fuel यहाँ से भरना है, and then it will be there in this particular tank, and it will be pumped from the tank to the injector by this fuel. ये fuel pump भी इसमें रहेगा अंदर के साइड में, ये fuel feed pump उसने बताया हुआ है, तो ये भी रहेगा. तो fuel feed pump, ये fuel tank थोड़ा सा सरक गया है, इसके अंदर ही रहेगा, and then it is fuel injector. So this is the layout. Sir, what is the precaution which has to be taken while designing the fuel system for the vehicle? What in your opinion? Suppose you are a designer, आप कौन सी precaution लोगे while designing this? Leakage, okay, that is there. We expect that there should not be any leakage. That is one thing. Second thing is, see, as far as the layouting of the fuel line is concerned, what is the precaution you wanted to take as a safety measure? Can you think of this? टैंक एंड इंजन, ओके, इंसुलेटिंग नहीं, पहले शुरू में क्या बताएं? टैंक एंड इंजन प्लेस सफिशिएंटली फार, ओके, इंसुलेशन, ओके, बेटर हिट ट्रांसमिशन, ओके. सर हिट ट्रांसमिशन किसका सर? फार फ्रॉम पैसेंजर. सर अगर ऐसा करोगे तो आप तो ट्रक डिजाइन करेंगे सर. यू हैव टू प्रायोरिटाइज. आपका जो स्पेस है that is very limited. That is why I said that packaging is very important. You need to think logically. Sir, Which three things which cannot come together? One is fuel line, second one is electrical wirings, and third one is exhaust system. Do you agree with this or not? Which I have told you. Sir, ground clearance, it will come, Atharva, don't worry, it will be governed by the tire as well. But these three things, they cannot go together. Do you agree that fuel line, then your exhaust routing, and the electrical wirings? So you need to, when you do the packaging, you have to keep these things in mind, that the electrical system and fuel lining and the exhaust system, they should not go together, and that is how you have to design the layout. Okay, so these things, they are the primary thing, because you have got limited space. You cannot go, you cannot make the arrangement in which these things, they go simultaneously from one end only. Okay, so this is the precaution which one needs to take. Then the other is, what is saying here? Ye ja kyun nahi raha? Vehicle suspension system, sir. Vehicle suspension system mein, what do you expect in vehicle suspension system? The front strut assembly, ये जो है, ये है आपकी front strut assembly. ये हम लोग डिटेल में पढ़ने वाले हैं सर. Typically comprise of a spring and a shock absorber. These devices control the suspension stiffness. Then the lower arm of this lateral movement of the suspension system and connect the front hub to the vehicle body. तो ये lower arm, sir, हमारे पास we are going to study the rigid axle suspension system and independent suspension system, along with how to design the spring system for the vehicle. So that we are going to study in detail in the suspension system. This is, I am just giving you an introduction. So this is the lower arm of the suspension system. Then what is next is the rear shock absorber. Okay, ये जो yellow वाला है, ये rear shock absorber है, ये okay, and coil spring भी है. The rear suspension assemblies also contain spring and shock absorber. The system shown has a solid rear axle and is known as non-independent rear suspension. So this system is basically the solid axle system. That means you have got independent and rigid axle. Is the difference is in independent system, the movement of the one wheel is not dependent on the movement of the other wheel. Okay, whereas in rigid axle suspension system, they act as a one body, and as a result there are so many problems with that. So we will see that. So this is basically the vehicle suspension system. Now next is vehicle steering system. You have got the steering wheel, then the steering column. The steering wheel allows the driver to control the direction of the vehicle. Steering column transmits the action of steering wheel to the steering rack. ये डोंट वरी, हम लोग इसका एक एक हर चीज डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे अपार्ट फ्रॉम द डिजाइन. In fact, from next class we are going to start with the designing of the steering system. So where it is used, what is the purpose, power steering क्या होता है, उसके क्या क्या पैरामीटर्स होते हैं, कौन से टाइप्स के पावर स्टीयरिंग होते हैं, then vehicle alignment कैसा होता है. So all these things we are going to study in this. And then this is the track rod end. The track rod ball joint allows vertical and horizontal movement of the steering system. So this is basically the parts which are there in the steering system. So we have seen fuel system, then suspension system, then steering system. After that, this is the front hub, which says that front hub connects the steering rack to the wheel. Okay, then the next one is the vehicle system location. Vehicle system location. Brakes. Sir, brakes में which kind of brakes are good? Do you have any idea? ये जो है डिस्क ब्रेक है, ड्रम ब्रेक्स है, आपने ऑलरेडी पढ़े भी है थियरी ऑफ मशीन्स में या मशीन डिजाइन में ब्रेक्स भी पढ़े हैं. So the disc and drum brakes assemblies help to bring the vehicle to stop. Disc brakes can be found on either the front or rear of the vehicle, and drum brakes are normally found on the rear of the vehicle. So we are going to study the disc brakes and the drum brake assembly as well. ये क्यों नहीं आ रहा भाई? Then disc brakes typically comprise of a disc, caliper and brake pads that everyone knows. We are going to study disc brakes as well, the braking force and everything. It is there included. So drum brakes typically comprise a brake drum, wheel cylinder and brake shoes. Then hand brake. So hand brake provides a mechanical linkage to the brakes and can be used to stop the vehicle if the hydraulic system fails. It can also be used to hold the vehicle stationary when it is parked. By any chance, have you used hand brakes in the car? अगर हैंड ब्रेक लगा है, अगर आपने गाड़ी चलाई तो क्या होगा सर? सौरभ क्या होगा? हमें गाड़ी चलेगी क्या हैंड ब्रेक्स में? Won't move. अरे नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, गाड़ी चलती है. Some vehicles they move.
Initially it provides a lot of resistance. It provides difficulty.
सर एक और मैं आपको चीज बता देता हूँ. This is the practical thing which you might have experienced, that in some of the old cars, if you apply the handbrakes and park the vehicle for more than let us say a week or more than 10 days during the rainy season, then you will find that even if you release the handbrake lever, the brake shoes, they are not released, and unless you drive that, then it will get released. So ये usually जो होता है, it is because of the rusting. So जब भी, that is why it is advisable that कि अगर आप कभी भी 6-7 दिन अगर व्हीकल नहीं चलाए तो एक बार हैंड ब्रेक को रिलीज करके फिर से आप उसको लगा सकते हो और थोड़ा व्हीकल स्टार्ट करके देख सकते हो, थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे करके, देन यू कैन रिलीज दिस ब्रेक्स. अदरवाइज अभी लॉकडाउन में क्या हुआ, बहुत सारे लोगों का प्रॉब्लम हो गया क्योंकि हैंड ब्रेक लगा के उन्होंने व्हीकल पार्क कर दी थी, and this had happened typically with the old cars. Okay, I'm not talking about the new cars. तो ये जनरली पुरानी गाड़ियों में ये प्रॉब्लम होता है. तो हैंड ब्रेक्स का यूज करना है, and braking circuit is almost same, but it is kind of a mechanical braking. Okay, so this is the system which is related to handbrake. Let us see if some more, and location of the braking system. So master cylinder, ये सर हम लोग सभी देखेंगे टिपिकली. ठीक है, तो ये है नाउ लोकेशन ऑफ ये ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम में. इसने क्या बोला है कि मास्टर सिलेंडर एंड रिजर्वायर, ये जब आप हाइड्रोलिक ब्रेक्स यूज करते हो तो then you require this. ABS is anti-lock braking system modulator. This we are also going to study in details with the circuit and everything. The master, इसमें क्या होता है ब्रेक सर्किट में, the master cylinder has a hydraulic piston that provides power to the brakes. So we are going to see the layout, we are going to draw that and discuss these layouting of the brakes in details along with certain equation and calculation. So anti-lock braking modulator consists of a pump and a number of solenoid valves that control the back pressure to each wheel when the ABS is activated. Have you heard about the ABS?
Yes sir.
सर सुना है क्या सर आपने ABS के बारे में?
Yes sir.
हाँ, ABS का मतलब क्या है सर? एंटी लॉक ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम. ओके, सो व्हाट डज इट मीन?
Sir, during braking, if a steering system able to work due to this ABS,
Okay,
means when we apply brake, a steering system will work as usual.
वेरी गुड. व्हाई इट वर्क्स सर? थोड़ा सा आगे जाके आपने पर्पस एग्जैक्टली बहुत करेक्ट बताया. इट इज 100% करेक्ट वॉट एवर यू आर सेइंग. दैट मीन्स द ड्राइवर वोंट लूज द कंट्रोल ओवर द स्टीयरिंग. सी फर्स्ट थिंग क्या होता है मोटरसाइकिल के अगर एक्सीडेंट आपने देखे यूजुअली कॉलेज में जो लोग बाइक चलाते हैं, सो इन ऑर्डर टू ड्राइव व्हीकल वेरी फास्ट, किसी पे इंप्रेशन मारने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा स्पीड में आप व्हीकल चलाते हो, और अगर कोई साइकिल वाला बेचारा अगर आपके सामने आ गया तो उसको बचाने के चक्कर में आप बहुत जोर से ब्रेक पेडल प्रेस करते हो. The moment you press the brake pedal, what happens? The vehicle, they instantly stop. As a result, they become one body, and the vehicle, the driver will lose control over the steering. And then, अगर control अगर आपका steering का चला गया, तो you know what is going to happen. So exactly to avoid such kind of thing, ये जो है एंटी लॉक ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम जो है ये यूज होता है. तो ये दिस कम्स अंडर द सेफ्टी फीचर्स ऑफ द ब्रेक और व्हीकल. सो यूजुअली यू विल फाइंड दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द व्हीकल्स नाउअडेज दे आर fitted with the anti-lock braking system. This has become one of the most important feature of the vehicle. Okay, so ये है braking system. तो सर अभी कितने लेआउट बाकी है? अभी इसके बाद है एग्जॉस्ट सिस्टम. दिस यू नो एग्जॉस्ट सिस्टम, ये क्या है? एग्जॉस्ट मैनिफोल्ड. दिस इज एग्जॉस्ट मैनिफोल्ड. एग्जॉस्ट मैनिफोल्ड के बाद जो आएगा ये जो पार्ट है, दिस इज अ कैटालिटिक कन्वर्टर. आफ्टर दैट दिस इज अ मफलर. ओके, और सॉरी, दिस इज द साइलेंसर, एंड or you can say these are two silencers and mufflers, and this is basically the exhaust. तो आप silencer को muffler भी बोल सकते हैं. Muffler is basically to take out the energy from the gases. Silencer will basically make sure that there should not be any resonance as far as the pulsating flow of the fluid, which is exhaust gas, which is coming. So it will damp the noise and you get the peaceful exhaust from here. Okay, so this is the exhaust system. So tailpipe, catalytic converter, then exhaust manifold and silencers. मैं ये बोला था ना आपको कि silencers and muffler ये उसको बोल सकते हैं. ये tailpipe, I have forgotten that. ये tailpipe emissions बोलते हैं इसको. The exhaust manifold connects to the exhaust port of the engine, to the exhaust pipe. The catalytic converter, this I am going to tell you the details of catalytic converter. The silencer reduces noise of the exhaust gas by damping pressure pulsation, and the tailpipe is where the remaining exhaust gas is released outside the vehicle body from the silencer. So now this is the vehicle assembly, automobile chassis body. So today we'll stop here. From next class we'll discuss this and we'll start with the steering system. So anybody is having any difficulty? सर किसी को कुछ डिफिकल्टी है क्या? Shall I stop sharing? Sir, please don't leave the meeting. Let me tell you that I keep the log. Those who leave early, for them I mark them absent. This is the, you please convey to your friends that अगर वो क्लास अगर मेरे परमिशन के पहले छोड़ते हैं तो मेरे पास लॉग क्रिएट होता है. So I can definitely mark them as absent because I have got the recording timing, everything with me. As I told you in the first class that कि मेरे पास पूरा लॉग रहता है. तो आप अपने दोस्तों से कह दीजिए नेक्स्ट टाइम कि अगर आप ऐसा क्लास छोड़ेंगे तो उनकी अटेंडेंस में मैं निश्चित उनको एब्सेंट मार्क करूंगा. ठीक है. सो ओवर फ्रॉम माय साइड, टुडे वी विल नॉट हैव प्रैक्टिकल एज टोल्ड बाय श्राव्या. एम आई करेक्ट मैम?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you will identify the slot and let me know that.
Yes,
And
sir.
also 8 to 9 class on Tuesday is shifted to Thursday for all of you for your information. Am I correct, Shravya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So okay. So over from my side, now you can leave the meeting.